Hello guys, this is Caesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. I would like to start today's video with a little announcement. We have hit 100 subscribers, which I am really excited about. I feel like this is the first milestone for my channel and I am super grateful about each and every subscriber. So thank you to everyone who decided to subscribe to my channel. I am so grateful. Thank you for all the nice comments that you guys left under my videos and on the Facebook groups when I publish my videos. Thank you for all the messages, thank you for the Instagram following, for the Instagram comment. I'm super happy that a lot of you comment that my builds are inspiring to you, because it was one of the main reasons why I decided to create this channel. So thank you again, and to all those people who haven't subscribed yet, please consider to do so, because it really keeps me going and it helps our little channel to grow. And I really hope that in future we'll have a lot more of those happy announcements. Okay, back to today's video. Today we are building a habitat for the reindeers. Reindeers were added to Planet Zoo game with an Arctic pack, and I really think that the reindeer habitat fits to this area we are building now. This build will be somehow familiar to our previous llama habitat. If you haven't seen that video, I will put the link on the screen as well as in the description to this video. As I said last time, the ungulates, enclosures and habitats in zoos are mainly really simple and plain. There is not much foliage in those habitats because it would simply be eaten by those kinds of animals. However, in this habitat we have some really nice height variation. I wanted to go for like a slope going up, with some rock formations and a lot of trees. As you could see, I started this build with building a simple toilet. I just felt that we don't have a toilet in our zoo. I also saw a lot of guests like walking around and showing me that they really need a toilet, so I decided to help them. And I really feel like the toilet fits well in this space, and this building is very simple, nothing too crazy like to drown your eyes into, just like real toilets or toilet buildings are in real life. As I said already probably a million times, in this series we are going for the realistic zoo approach, so I would like to build buildings and habitats that are inspired by real life zoos, real life buildings. I am often looking for an inspiration on the internet, on Pinterest and so on, and this is how I found this picture of the public toilet. As I said, a really simple and generic building just to blend it in the rest of our zoo. Of course, as always, I will put the link down in the description to the photo that this building is inspired by. Of course, it's not an actual replica or an 100% recreation. It's just something that I was inspired by, and I tried to build something similar. And that's my advice for you guys. If you feel like you are stuck in this game, like you don't know what to build next, like you lack in creativity, or you just have a block, or you are overwhelmed with the creations of other players you see online, just go on the Pinterest or Google Graphics and search for inspirations, the photos of real life zoos, real life habitats. There are so many pictures when you type the zoo architecture on Pinterest that you can try to recreate. And you don't need to only look for zoo stuff. You can just type in public toilets like I did and you will find tons and tons of inspiration. You can try to recreate a building from the picture. It is challenging, but it's also quite a learning experience because you need to think how to do it in this game. You need to learn how to use the pieces in many different ways, not in the exact ways that they were built for. And this is how I feel that I learned the most of the building in this game, just by trying to recreate the things that I found somewhere, I saw in real life. Because without any inspiration, my builds looked like boxes. I am not an architect, so I wasn't aware of what materials to use for the builds, how the roofs typically look like. But researching and looking for stuff online really helped me to learn how to use the pieces in the game. And now some of the builds that I built are even not inspired by anything, and I am quite happy with how they turn out, because now I know the main rules of how to build the buildings in this game. So yeah, if you struggle, definitely try to look for stuff online. I really recommend it, and I promise you it will teach you a lot. And now I'd like to talk about something that was brought up in the comments under my last video. So apparently some of you guys think that my speed builds are too fast and they are hard to follow because sometimes the video gets a little dizzy. And I can totally see why. But I would like to explain myself a bit. My builds are usually very detailed. Even though they are sped up 8 times, the final videos are usually about 40 minutes, which in my opinion is quite long for a YouTube video. I would love my videos to be even shorter, but by now it was quite impossible for me with the level of details that I incorporate in every of my builds. So the question is, if you guys want slower videos, but we won't probably be able to finish a habitat in one video, and there will have to be split in 2 parts, because otherwise the videos will be about 1.5 hours for the whole build. And I am already a bit terrified about the topics that I will have to come up with for those voiceovers for 1.5 hours. Or if you want every build to finish in one video, which basically means that the videos need to be sped up a bit more, like this one you're watching now. I personally prefer the second option, but I am recording those videos for you guys, not for me, so I will let you decide. Please comment down in the comment section what you think about it. Of course, if the videos are too fast for you and it's hard for you to follow, you missed something, or you just don't know how I did something, please comment down below. I am super happy to help you. I will always comment, reply, or even record an additional tutorial especially for you guys, just to solve this problem of my videos being a bit too fast. Also, the purpose of the cinematic shots at the end of every video is to show you guys in a steady motion the finished result of the build, so we can watch it without the screen getting dizzy and moving too fast. So if you want to see my builds in the normal time, definitely stay till the end of every video, because I assure you that at the end of every video there will be cinematic shots. To make my videos a bit shorter but also more interesting, I try to cut out some parts of them. So from this video I cut out my work with the surroundings of the habitat. So I created a small forest near the toilet on the opposite side of the habitat, but also around the habitat at the end. I also showed you only the beginnings of me creating the shelters and the curbs for the paths, just to make it more interesting, just not to be too repetitive, because that's just simply, copying and pasting the fences for the guests and the curbs. And as I said, I want those videos to be interesting, not to force you to watch one thing being done over and over again. And now I would like to talk a bit about the importance of height variations in your zoos. As you probably all realized, all the starting maps in the sandbox mode or in the franchise mode in Planet Zoo, besides the tropical map in the South America, are perfectly flat. And nowhere, I repeat, nowhere on Earth you will find such a large field that is so perfectly flat. That's why when you are going for a real zoo or you want your habitats to look nice and realistic, never, I repeat, never forget about using the terrain tools. Every zoo, every forest, every park, every field or meadow has some hills, has some ditches, has some slopes, some pits, some holes. And I think that learning how to use the terrain tools in this game is very, very important if you want your habitat and your general zoo to look nice. Of course, I'm not talking about crazy mountains or something like that. I'm just talking about gentle slopes, gentle holes in the ground. Animals, when they spend a lot of time in habitats, there are some animals that, dig, they walk around in the same places, so the ground never will be even. So please think of that when you are building your habitats, because I see a lot of comments on Facebook groups that people struggle because they think that their builds look unrealistic or they look like, straight boxes, and they are amazed how other people build in this game. But for me, the main answer is terraforming, using the terrain tools in the right way. It really makes a huge difference. And that's why I wanted to build this reindeer habitat on a gentle slope. Actually, different height variations in animals' habitats are good for them, because walking all the time sometimes hold their lives on the perfectly flat surface is not healthy for their muscles, for their joints and so on. By walking up and down, they exercise a bit, they use their muscles. So for the animals to stay healthy, they definitely need some high variations. And again, that's something you should always think about. As you can see, I already started to work on an actual habitat. If you wonder what is this small pen or small enclosure on the back of the habitat, this is something that I already talked about in my last video, but in case you didn't see it, I will repeat. This is a holding pen, and it is very common in all the zoos around the world. Sometimes it is indoors, sometimes it is outdoors, sometimes you cannot even see it as a guest. And it is basically used to separate the animals. If, for example, one animal is sick, or there is some fighting over dominance, or the animals simply don't like each other, if there's a mother that recently gave birth to a baby, they are also separated. Also, if the habitat needs some maintenance, if it's clean, the animals can be closed in there, not to bother the workers. So yeah, it has many purposes and is very, very useful. And as we are going for this realistic zoo approach, I want to incorporate the most real-life zoo aspects in my builds. That's why I will be always building those holding pens. And yeah, that's simply what it is. And now it is time for our fun facts. Those of you who have subscribed to my channel for sure know that in every of my videos I try to give you some fun facts about the animals that we are adding to our zoo. So today's fun facts are about the reindeers. Maybe you have heard the name caribou before. Caribou and reindeers are actually the same animal. The term reindeer is mostly used around Europe, while caribou is used in North America. Reindeers belong to the deer family, but they are quite unique because both male and female reindeer grow antlers, while in most other deer species only male have antlers. Compared to the body size, the male reindeer have the largest and heaviest antlers of all the living deer species. The difference between horns and antlers is that horns, they grow throughout the whole life of the animal, of the antelope for example, while the antlers, they fell off every year and grow back larger each year. That is why you sometimes can see reindeers without antlers or male deers without antlers. It is probably because they have just shed them. Reindeers are covered in hair from their nose to the bottom of their feet. That's why their feet look a bit funny, I guess. That's why the deer models in game have those like huge hooves. They have hairy hooves because it gives a better grip for the reindeers while they are walking on the frozen ground or ice. And reindeers are actually the only deer species that have hair completely covering their nose. So that's also quite interesting. Reindeers live in huge herds, from 10 individuals to up to hundreds of them. That's why I found the maximum amount of reindeers in one habitat in this game quite disappointing, because it's up to 12 and there can only be one male and 11 females, while in those huge herds there are obviously more males than just one. Maybe it has something to do with them being in captivity, so that they're in enclosed space and the males are more like prone to fighting in those small spaces. But in real life they definitely live in larger herds. That's why it's quite like strange for me. Reindeers are mainly associated with Santa Claus. As you probably all know, like, come on, who haven't heard of the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Santa's reindeers were firstly mentioned in 1821 by the New York printer William Gilley. He printed a booklet with a collection of poems, and there was one poem by the anonymous author. And in this poem there was actually a part about reindeers. And I actually found this poem and I will read for you this part. So it goes. Old Santa Claus with much delight his reindeer drives his frosty night, chimney tops and tracks of snow to bring his yearly gifts to you. So yeah, that was the first mention of the reindeers, which were associated with Santa Claus, and nobody has a clue why this author came up with the reindeers and this concept. But I guess the people liked it and it just stayed with us till today. It's probably because Santa Claus is said to be living in those cold regions of Earth, and there are no horses, so if he has a sledge, he just needs some animals to pull it, and the reindeers just happen to live in this area. So this author came up with this idea and it just stayed with us till today. Now let's briefly talk about this shelter for the reindeers. It's a really simple one. It was actually inspired by the shelter for the reindeers in the Vienna Zoo. I decided not to put the stalls inside of this shelter, just as I did with the llamas last time, because I feel like reindeers are much more social animals, and they're most likely sleep next to each other, like very close to each other, just to feel each other and to stay warm. So they will probably sleep all together next to each other. I just added this sliding metal crate inside between the two parts of the shelter, just so the animals can be separated in case they need to be separated, or when the one part of this shelter is cleaned or something. The keepers have the opportunity to close them, and it's just something, again, for the sake of realism. Behind the shelter, I created a small backstage area for the keepers. There's a gate for some vehicles that drive up there with new beddings and stuff, with food. So there is also this little shed for the beddings, for the shavings, I think that they are also called. There's this small vehicle for the staff members. Something again more realistic that you will have by the entrances to those habitats. And just not to move all the tools and all the foods and all the bedding all the time. You just have some area to put it and just to change it if there is a need, if there is a maintenance of the habitat. You have everything close by. Also later on you'll be seeing me creating those tree protections, just as we did last time. This time there are more wooden ones. I forgot to mention this last time, but the tree protection, I used there a trick with the mud pillar. Using a mud pillar is a nice technique for creating perfectly round shapes. So if you want to create a round building, round, roof or something that you need, just use a mud pillar. It's the only piece that is on the grid that is round. So you can just rotate it and copy it and rotate it and do it a lot of times, and you'll get perfectly round shapes, just as I needed this round tree protection. If you want better explanation how to do it, I can always do a tutorial with my building tricks, and I will include that in this tutorial. But I learned it from other YouTubers, so if you want it quick, you can always go and try to find it in other tutorials on YouTube. And as I said last time, I add those tree protections again for the sake of realism. The animals that basically eat the foliage that are just bored in their habitats, then they spend a lot of time in one place. They start to graze, they start to bite on the things that are inside of the habitat, and they start to graze on the tree bark. And just to protect the trees and the tree bark, the zoos, they use those protections so that animals cannot get to the actual trees and destroy them. It doesn't look very pretty, but it's functional, and that's what matters. And now I'd like to talk about the future episodes of the Elm Hill City Zoo. So behind the reindeer habitat, I plan to add 2 more ungulate habitats. But I think that I will make a break from building those kinds of habitats, because I don't want to bore you guys. So in the next episode we'll try to build something else, and we'll get back to this area. And this something else will be something really different that we haven't built before. So definitely stay tuned for that. I am really excited about this build because I really like those kinds of builds, and I think that they are in almost every zoo that I've been to. So okay, you'll see I'm not telling you anything more. So if you want to see me building something else then ungulates habitats, please stay tuned for the next video. I will try to post it probably by the end of the next week. Also, I nearly forgot to mention that I unfortunately lost a bit of the footage of the reindeer habitat. It was adding the foliage to this habitat. There is not much foliage, but there was some on the. There is some shrubs, some bushes there. So sorry guys, I don't know what happened. The recording just stopped, and yeah, we don't have this this part, but I'm sure that you'll be able to figure out how I did it. You'll be having many more chances to see how I add foliage to habitats, so you didn't miss anything. Okay guys, thank you for watching today's video. Please enjoy the rest of this speed build. You have several minutes ahead of you. Thank you again for 100 subscribers. It really means a lot to me. I am super happy. I want our family to grow, I want to build, I want to inspire you guys, I want to build the things that you request me to build. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please comment down below if you have any questions, if you liked my video, if you have any recommendations of how I can make my videos better. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And again, please subscribe, because I would like to celebrate the 200 subscribers very soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye guys!